at Let's Be Treasonable. Not necessarily in person, occasionally, as he did with the Cause Effect, but he brings us a weekly burst of Durst. So please take it away, Will Durst.
Always a delight.
Hey guys, Will Durst here with the fervent hope that 2017 goes down smoother than the previous year, whose name I have totally wiped from my memory. Oh, my living God, the year that shall not be named sucked like an industrial-strength vacuum cleaner designed to inhale rocks the size of North Dakota. On a major league suckage scale of 1 to 10, the last 12 months rated 1,937. Maybe it was that extra leap day that tipped the balance into grievously heinous, but those 366 days of death and destruction and disaster and despair and ugly and horrid and atrocious and ghastly can only be tempered by the fact that we survived. Barely. And not all of us. It was, to happy times, what banana daiquiris are to reinforced concrete support beams, what barbed wire-wrapped bats are to pantyhose, what Donald J. Trump is to calm deliberate judgment. Queen Elizabeth once referred to a particularly bad year as an annus horribilis, and this was definitely that, with one of the ends removed. The kind of 52 weeks that makes you want to build a bunker in the backyard and fill it to the rim with Little Debbie snack cakes and bourbon. Maybe the whole thing was a plot by the pharmaceutical industry to sell more antidepressants. Anyhow, whatever you want to call the past year, good riddance to bad rubbish. Don't let the doorknob hit you in the butt on the way out. Welcome, 2017. Take your coat off. Sit down a spell. You have some awfully tiny shoes to fill, and we're counting on you to take a bit of the chill out of the air. But hey, no pressure. For the Cause Effect, I'm Will Durst.
There we have it.
There we go. Will Durst.
Done, Durst.
I love Will. That's where I started my comedy career, and I
In San Francisco.
Wisconsin? Oh.
yeah, San Francisco, and I worked with Will numerous times.
Fantastic.
See him weekly. So.
And
Very nice.
I'm ready, as a Trump voter, I'm ready to hear your apology.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, no, because I've been stewing on this, and I feel I owe it to. So I just want to apologize to Trump supporters. I was pretty hard on you during the election, and I'm not talking about friends. I'm talking about humans that I used to be my friends. And not just the Trump voters who wanted to change or wanted jobs to come back to the U.S., but I'd like to expand my apology to all Trump voters, including the racists, misogynists, homophobes, xenophobes, because there's a few out there. There's not all, but there's a few.
No.
Or if you're just a good Christian, I'm sorry. I was not nice. I argued with you in front of your families and your coworkers, and I called you names like idiot or a fucking idiot sometimes in front of your own children. And I mean, sometimes we get in an argument, I'd ask you to articulate a policy position of Trump's, which is unfair and
That is dirty.
and sad.
How dare you?
I was completely unable to grasp your blind hatred of Hillary Clinton, but I get it now. You showed me, you showed all of us, you won. And I still believe that by voting for Donald Trump, you revealed a very deep and serious character flaw. Also, that continuing to justify and defend our new emperor. First of all, it makes me physically ill, but that you're not the least bit concerned about your break with humanity. But so be it. I'm sorry, and I retract my statement that I said after the election that I wish you dead. Again, family, friends that I used to talk to, I'm sorry. That was wrong. I'm a big boy. I can admit when I'm wrong, and, so I'm going to move a little bit left of wrong, and I'm going to say that I no longer wish you dead. I do still wish you ill, especially if you're on Obamacare and voted for Trump, because you're still a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
That was sweet.
That was beautiful.
And it's from the heart.
I was going to say, that sounded
I'm so
sounded
touched.
heartfelt. That was...
I feel like a weight has lifted off of me now. So
That's
Yeah.
good to get
the
that
healing. Here's the healing beginning here at Let's Be Treasonable.
Well, I have myself quit. I'm continuing to talk to Trump voters that I know, just slower And with smaller words.
No, you use terrific a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
Yes.
That was during his Roadshow press conference this week. One of the things that really amazed me. I was actually impressed with the man for a second when he said that he could run his business and run the country at the same time. That he understands that other presidents haven't done that because they don't want to get bogged down with the minutia. And I stopped for a second and had to pick my jaw up off the floor, thinking he used the word minutia properly in a sentence.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, now there's no proof that he can spell it.
No, he could
but,
never.
that was one of the quotes from the press conference that actually did floor me. It's like, no, you fucking moron. That is not why they don't run a business at the same time as they're running the country. It's not because they don't want to get bogged down in the minutia. It's because it will seem like an obvious conflict of interest that will let people who want to buy privilege with the president know exactly how to do it.
Yep.
Those who may not have a Twitter account like Linda Bean.
Yeah. Truman didn't sell any hats while he was president.
What a loser.
Yeah.
No hats, no steaks, no ties.
That's right. I've realized myself that I understand Trump a little bit better, what he wants. Mm-hmm. What he wants is...
What a
Will you
Trump
share
wants.
with us?
Yeah.
What a Trump
he wants
needs.
a low-information voter in the streets and a squirter in the sheets.
All right.
But,
Yeah,
it's going to be...
Nice.
Ba-dum-bum.
Something that Barry Crimmins tweeted was basically that fighting people like this is fun. And so I think we should have fun in these 4 years.
Agree.
While the world is being destroyed.
There can be fun to be had here.
Yeah.
There is fun to be had.
I think there's a fine line that I think so far within the confines of this show we have all walked as the Wallendas that we are. But I think as a liberal and a comedian, it is possible to walk a similar walk to what Republicans and Trump fans have been walking for the last 8 years, while still taking the high road. I think
being proactive and out in front of it,
but also being a dick like they were, but from an educated standpoint.
But
so
a super nice dick.
I'm not going to ask you to elucidate. But I think
forceful
as you were saying earlier,
you're right.
liberals, you're supposed to be tolerant, and I would say most liberals are tolerant of almost everything except intolerance, and we will make no excuse for that. But all of these Republicans who, for the last 8 years, have been making fun of liberals and calling us tender snowflakes and asking if we need a safe space.
That's over.
They have turned out to be the biggest whiny bitches.
I know.
Big surprise. But when they start hitting you with conjecture and you argue back with fact and they get all whiny and petulant, it's like, grow a pair. Why don't you become everything that you thought you were for the last 8 years?
But they never have.
Oh, no.
I mean, you talk to, pretty much any, and they've been consuming fake news for the last 30 or 40 years. And the thing that when you engage in debate with them, almost within 30 seconds, they will contradict themselves. And this is no different than that, right? So they're okay calling you a snowflake and then turning around and acting like a snowflake. It doesn't even register with them.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
All of those bets are off at this point. They get to say whatever they want and create their own reality moment to moment. And that's the slippery slope we're really against.
They do. Just for anyone listening, they don't. They don't actually get that.
That's why I really believe like the whole political conversation moving forward is about truth. Truth is going to be the great watchword of the next at least 4 years, but I would say probably the next 25 years. That we're so down in this hole, we're going to have to really dig ourselves out. And people who have access to the truth, I mean, I was thinking yesterday, I bet truth becomes like a sort of a religion in and of itself. That I think the ideas around truth, veracity in general in our society are going to change and be at some point elevated in a way that it hasn't been in a really, really long time, because in the end, that's all we're ever going to have. It's the only ground you have to stand on.
I think the groundwork has already been laid out, making truth into the new religion, because already there's a sizable portion of the country that doesn't believe in it.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Well, and you've got large entities in, whether it's Republicans or the media, or now even the Democrats, the corporate centrist Democrats that aren't necessarily on the side of truth. I think that's going to be a big challenge. But I like the direction you're going in. I would agree with that. I think we got to hold people accountable to that standard too.
And I think anyone who's listening, this is our mission. This is hold people accountable, make the truth sacred.
Because this is already an administration of disinformation. Do you know that they revoked the Washington Post's press credentials? They no longer have access to press conferences for the president. Washington Post.
Wow. Well, we always saw how they treated. I don't know if BuzzFeed has reporters. I don't know.
Yeah. They do. It's funny, because for the longest time, I just saw BuzzFeed as like a website full of listicles and quizzes. And then, I don't know, like 6 months ago, I was tuned in to Meet the Press, and there was someone on the panel from BuzzFeed. I'm like, what the hell is what is wrong with this planet?
Legit? Yeah.
Well, it's funny because we grew up with Mad Magazine, and then the lower version of that was Cracked.
Yeah.
And now there's actually interesting lists from Cracked. That's become an interesting website. Not political necessarily, but we're now we've got, I guess, the vacuum filled by the lack of investigation by the mainstream media is things like BuzzFeed.
But on the other side of it, I mean, there's some really exciting things happening, I think, in journalism. I mean, look at all the reporting that Teen Vogue has done lately. I mean,
seriously,
I laugh, but you are right.
Done some fantastic reporting, and are going after stories that other outlets aren't. And they are in no way, dumbing it down for their readership. And their readership is, millennials are young women coming of age who have lived their whole lives with Obama, most of their lives with Obama as president. And these are the people who are going to be our future, our voters, our politicians, our thinkers, our writers, our activists. So I think it's actually very hopeful on that score.
Our tweeters.
Our tweeters.
By the way, just a quick interruption. You've probably been hearing some noise in the background during the show. I just want listeners to know that is the sound of a new show under construction.
Boom.
So that's what you're hearing.
Oh, yeah.
While Carl's out, we're expanding the studio.
We are. Yeah.
We don't have work permits or anything, but
we're
like
putting a deck.
Folks.
We're putting a deck up. Randy, I just drew a total blank. You had just mentioned something about the issues that you wanted to talk about this week.
The Bernie Sanders and Senator Klobuchar submitted an amendment to import drugs from Canada, which would reduce the cost probably about 50%. And so it was defeated in the Senate, and it was defeated primarily. Well, first of all, this is on the eve of all these efforts to repeal Obamacare. So we're looking at 30 million people getting thrown off of health insurance, which is going to mean that people are going to die.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them are going to be the people we talked about, Midwest, blue collar,
and also Rust Belt,
white people. So there is a good component of appealing Obamacare. But so on the eve of that happening, so Bernie, they proposed this amendment that will reduce the cost of pharmaceuticals, which is one of the drivers of healthcare premiums, which everyone is complaining about Obamacare. My premiums are going up. Your premiums have gone up since the beginning of the history of health insurance.
every year.
No, the black guy invented expensive health care.
Oh, that's
it
right.
was free
It was
until
free.
he came in.
You could just go to the emergency room.
It wasn't going up at 20% a year before.
Listen, they're going to hoist themselves on their own petard with this. They don't have a plan. There's no way. It can't go anywhere.
The plan is to
They
watch
can't-
people die.
Yeah.
And so
Hopes and prayers.
So the Democrats have a chance to give something back. It's more of a symbolic